Now, the Tim Minchin affair, that's what I want to talk about, just briefly, because Tim Minchin, who is Australia's, leading, musical actor and composer, very talented. He was on the show called The Project last night, singing a song that he wrote called something like Come Home, Cardinal Pell. So I heard it and saw it, and then I saw it referred to many times on Twitter, and I thought, well, what do you think about this, my comrade Maguire? Talking to myself. And I said, well, it's the kind of thing that the victims of clerical abuse needed to hear in the public forum on their behalf, like the wailing, the crying of people who have been so badly hurt that they've got nothing else to do except rant and rage. So I said to myself, well, Tim Minchin's done him a favour. And then I was thinking later, some of the words in the song, and I shouldn't have paid too much attention because when you sing, I don't know that you intend to be listened to that carefully because it's more the music than the lyrics. But anyway, some of the lyrics are a bit, damning of George Pell. There's a special place in hell for you, George Pell. And then I thought, well, once again, the pain and the agony and all the rest of it, you say things and you're not responsible for your language. And then I thought, look, darling, you're overthinking this. Just be satisfied that Tim Minchin has in fact done a good job for the whole enormous number of people who have been let down and tortured by the church authorities. So then I got called by some media people to say, what do you think of Tim Minchin? And then I got second thoughts because I didn't want to go on the public media, mainstream media, and appear to be Bob Maguire flogging Cardinal Pell just because he doesn't like Cardinal Pell. And I must admit I'm not the greatest admirer in church matters of Cardinal Pell. I've got nothing against him personally. But a fair go, well, what does it mean? When does a fair go put on the shelf and you just let, nature take its course? So I thought and I put a couple of things on Twitter, and I suppose one of the things on Twitter I put referred to this problem that we Catholics have just now, because the Pope's running around the world saying, listen, awful things are happening everywhere, Mexico and in Africa and all over the world, but we Catholics must exercise what he calls mercy. Now, that's not a saleable product these days, I think, in a country like Australia, because we tend to want to identify people as being either on our side or not, and the ones who are not on our side, we demonise them so that it gives us the opportunity to beat them up. Now, mercy is not like that. Mercy is a fair go, which means that even though you don't like the person, or even though they've done awful things, you say, I am going to give you the opportunity that you have not given to us. So I got caught up in that, and then here I am today, and I said, I know what I'll do. I'll go on YouTube, and I'll get it off my chest, and maybe just by so doing I will relieve the pressure on myself. But as Confucius says, you should make a friend of your enemy. Now, how you do that, and at the same time remain faithful to the agony requirements of the victims of abuse by clergy, I don't know, but I'm working on it, thinking on it. So I might have it by the time we come back. Anyhow, that's enough. By the way, it's Lent, L-E-N-T, in the Catholic Church, which means It's an old English word for springtime, and God knows in Australia it's not springtime, it's summer. So it means really a springtime of the Spirit, which means we need to refresh our spirits. And we do it once a year, 40 days and 40 nights. I don't know if we're doing it seriously these days, but I still remember it fondly as being an important time. So I suppose this is part of my Lent soul searching. Anyway, happy Easter.